There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks. I'm Matt.
And I'm Wes.
Hey.
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 What a nice, breezy summer night.
We got a summer fan going on here because we, AC guy, 3 times now. Still no help. So coming back again, the AC people are. At least now they're not charging me. Past few times have been free, so.
I'm sure they are so frustrated with coming over here.
I'm sure I don't care about their frustration. My wife told me earlier today, she texted me, she went, he's here, and he seems very aggravated. I said, I'll come home and show him what aggravated looks like. Oh, poor him.
I'll take my belt off.
Oh, I will tomorrow. So, welcome back.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. They absolutely double dog promised me it'd be fixed today. You know, they were going to stay until it got fixed, and they stayed all the way till 5 or whatever, claiming victory, and it didn't happen.
I wonder if we should do a podcast about adult expectations. Maybe that's part of our issue.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But I will say this.
From pop culture to air conditioning.
There's times when before we talk and then after we talk after a podcast, where some of it's podcast gold.
Yes.
You delivered podcast gold just now, before the podcast.
I think I did, yes.
Yeah, I know you did. I really enjoyed the story. You told me you had a story. You told me the story. It's a great story, but it's a story just for off the podcast.
Well, the gist of it was... on this podcast, we talk a lot about the job that we worked at, where we sold cards, we sold comics, we sold Beanie Babies.
Back at the height of the very pinnacle of the Beanie Baby craze, we
Correct.
were there.
So I had the opportunity to talk to the guy that owned that shop.
Yeah.
Last night on the phone, totally through a mutual person, and
you felt like a Make-A-Wish kid that just got his wish granted.
I did. It was very. I'm still on my high from it. Like on the last podcast, we talked about having concert juice, and I feel very juiced up right now.
Yeah. No, I get it because and we said this all off the podcast, but he's almost like a dad to us all because that store, that moment, that time meant so much to us.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like if you wrote this as a movie, it would be like the 20-year-old kids in Stand By Me.
To be honest, you could make a pretty solid season or two just combining of true stories that happened during. I mean, I don't know who would want to show it, but there'd be some great stories.
Well, I guess with this writer's strike, maybe they're looking for ideas.
Maybe they're looking for ideas. But I remember. And I mean, sales were just. I mean, those were the good old days. I mean, we could sell. Instead of packs of cards, we were selling boxes to people. We were taking that lady came. I know I've said this on the podcast. The guy's wife came in and cussed me out for. Her husband came up here and we spent his whole paycheck at the store.
Yeah.
And she was pissed. And I said, "Don't be pissed at me. He's a grown man. He made his own decisions. Plus, it's an investment." You know, that's always what we say.
That story reminds me of on 40-Year-Old Virgin when the guy comes in and his wife chews out Steve Carell because she finds her boyfriend or whatever. He was talking to another girl and she's like, "Is this how you talk to women?" And he goes, "Yeah, for sure." And just he goes on this, and it reminds me of how you're telling this woman, you're basically just telling her to back off. He's a grown man. You're not going to come in here and like.
You didn't intimidate
high school football coach me about doing my job.
You didn't intimidate any of us. And a story I want to tell Wayne again was the time the lady opened up a pack of cards and demanded a refund because I can't remember which player it was. I used to remember this, but so-and-so isn't on the Pirates anymore. He's on the Braves. This is an old card. I said, "Ma'am, these cards were taken at the beginning of the season."
I want to say it was David Justice.
You can't, something like that.
And it was when he had went to the Indians and she pulled a pack, and
maybe
it was
so
when
he was still
with the Braves.
And I was like, yeah, it was a Brave, I remember.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Ma'am," I said, "they take those at the beginning of the year. He just got traded." I said, they'll do an update set later, but you're not getting your money back. You opened the cards. You can't get it back. "Well, I want my money back." I said, "Well, I'm going to call security." I said, "I'll call security." And then Ray came over. Ray goes, "What seems to be a problem?" I said, "She's creating chaos." I said, "She needs to get out of here." And he goes, "Okay." And he bounced her from the mall. She got so pissed. She knew Wayne Humble or got his number somehow. And then Wayne called me, boy, give her that $2 a pack and whatever. And I was like, Wayne, no, I don't want to do it. And she came on in all haughty and everything, and I threw those $2 across the counter at her. I was pissed.
The principles of life.
I'm telling you. But good stories, man. Good stories, good times. And that's, I mean, and he was the godfather. He sat on top of it all and let it go down. So hopefully, just long story short, we're hopefully planning to all get together with him.
Yeah.
Which would be great.
Where we sit down and kiss the ring.
That's fine. Kiss the ring, talk about good old times. Have him make an announcement that he's opening up another card store and he all wants us to volunteer work there. I mean, I got some hours. Let's do it.
Absolutely. If he's got air conditioning, you'll probably go up there more often.
Sheesh, yeah, that's true. Anyway, so our topic, the little topic we haven't talked about yet, cord cutting is a thing now. No one really has cable anymore, I don't think.
I think it's more...
My parents don't even have cable.
Yeah, I think that if the last time I had cable was in the apartment complex I was in before I moved, before COVID, and it came with the apartment. Like you had, it was wired up for internet and local cable, which is Comcast here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know of anyone that really pays for that anymore.
We got rid of cable maybe 8-9 years ago. We were one of the, cord cutting was beginning to be a thing. I would quit Comcast, the cable portion of it, every once in a while, just because that gives Comcast, always trying to nickel and dime me. I was like, I'm done. So cut my cable. And after a while, I was like, hey, do you just want to, because back then, I think there was a little streaming going on, not too much. Netflix was a thing. I said, do you just want to get Netflix or something? And so that's what we went with. We got Netflix instead, and she was able to watch a lot of shows and then switch to Hulu, stuff like that. We started switching streaming services every other month or something. And you remember this is only 5 years ago, and I was telling you I was, because I got HBO Max for a month, and I was just like dropping them like MCI, Sprint, and AT&T, back when you used to drop all, go to each telephone company. I would just switch them out, just switch out the streaming ones every month, just watch what we needed, then move to the next one. And Megan liked that, and now everything's streaming. So, but even my parents don't even have cable now.
Yeah, I think, and my thing that I find interesting about everybody wanting to get away from cable, now we have such a plethora of streaming, but everything is what they wanted not to be under, or I guess maybe the consumer wanted not to be under one gigantic umbrella, and now everyone's streaming bills, or they're trying to figure that out, and because you're paying so much, you're really understanding what something is worth and where that's going to take all of these companies.
True. And the only time that you have commercials that are worth anything is during games, sports games.
Yes,
that's the only time people are watching things live. I mean, but even now though, you watch stuff live on that. My dad watches Roku. He has Roku, so he has Major League Baseball Extra Innings through Roku.
Yeah.
I mean, but a lot of people will watch their local channels that way or something there, and that's the only time you're ever going to get where a commercial will be worth it, Other than that, TV commercial on any of the other cable channels, I'm sure it's super cheap to do that in Comcast because no one's watching them anymore.
Yeah, I don't know how that would even work these days because
it's a minute group
everything
now.
Is so now whatever you can do to skip a commercial.
I want to know, and I want to know in our comments on YouTube if anyone's listening. Anyone who is a millennial, do you have cable? I wonder if any a Gen Xer I can see that would still have cable. Someone like us may still be dragging through cable. I can see Heath Futch sitting by Nick at night, asleep on his little sofa, snoring. But I can't imagine any millennial having cable. Can you?
No,
definitely not a Generation Y.
Yeah, I'm not under. I would like to see like what numbers are out there.
Yeah,
that shows like a 5-year trend, especially with like how much streaming peaked in 2020. So where does that leave those kind of companies? I mean, I know DirecTV is still around though.
Yeah, DirecTV, all those cable, and they're super cheap now. You can get their big package for $70 a month. But of course, when you now we're in a time where you get to watch when you want to watch. You don't have to wait around. I mean, back in the day, we had DVRs too that just
you did.
Everything.
You don't have appointment-based
but you don't
TV except for sports.
You don't have to must-watch TV. Of course, they're trying to get you to watch TV live now.
Right.
I know Survivor, one of my favorite shows. They do a live. You can follow along with Jeff Probst as he's talking to you in the board.
Sure, it's a gimmick.
As the games, it's just a gimmick to get you watching it live.
Yeah, keep you engaged.
And so you have people that do that now to just kind of build up their numbers. But now, no, most people will wait the next day till it comes out.
They'll get around to it.
With or without commercials, It's just one of those things. So I just, even that medium, unless it's sports. Sports is one thing it's hard to watch a replay of.
Yeah, if you're going to watch anything, you're going to watch highlights only.
That's the only thing, yeah. That you're not going to sit through a whole game and just see how it went. You just want to watch the highlights or whatnot.
You got to be pretty friggin' dedicated to do that.
And I'm sure there are people that want to see the whole game. I mean, my dad every once in a while has rewatched a football game that's really good.
Sure, like something like that.
You know, some big game he'll watch again. I get that. And what was the ESPN channel? ESPN U or 4 or 3 that used to play the classics. They used to play the classic games. Yeah, I can see people wanting to see that. I have the whole 1986 Mets World Series on DVD. My brother said he'd come over and watch it with me. I've seen it a couple of times. I'd watch it again. I know how it ends.
Sure.
But I don't know. It's just one of those things where now you can watch whatever you want when you want. And this is more true than ever before. Like DVRs, we could say you could watch it whenever you wanted. Even before then, DVDs. Pop it in, you can watch whenever you want. Hit pause, walk away. But now everything's on streaming. Ever since we moved here, I have not watched one DVD. I was
I think
DVDs,
the physical media side of that is
I don't even buy DVDs. I don't even watch a DVD because everything I want is streaming. It's been 2 years since I bought anything on DVD.
Yeah, and I think that's the same thing with music. Like they have to tie in so much like extra stuff now. If someone releases something where it's you buy a package where you get something autographed or something because it's really not worth it.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, I don't know if Books A Million, do they still do the buyback program?
No.
Oh, they don't buy DVDs and sell. Okay.
I can't imagine. Why would they do that?
Dang, they used to for a while.
Sure, yeah.
They're doing this used stuff. I mean, if they are, because I need to dump. I want to dump my DVD collection. And I've been wanting to dump it for a couple of years. I know a couple of years ago, Books A Million was doing that, and I was like, oh, I need to get there, and I just never got there because I knew it was the perfect time to start dumping things.
Yeah, it's like when you go into Best Buy now and they don't have anything to buy anymore, so that shows.
Oh, they're done with DVDs.
Yeah, it's very minor amount. A row of DVDs rather than 6.
Probably want a DVD if there's a good, there usually never is, but good behind the scenes commentary track or something like that.
You would have to be a mega fan.
You'd have to be a mega fan of the movie, I agree, in order to want to get something like that. Because there's like very few. The Evil Dead commentaries are really fun. Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi do them. So I'm happy. There's a few DVDs I would keep in my collection, but I would say a good 90% I would let go and be fine with letting go. Extra features and behind-the-scene featurettes included. I'd let most of it go.
Yeah, there's nothing that I would want out of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, but today it's just like anything you want. It's streaming somewhere, most likely. There's very few things that I can't find.
I guess my question then is, we talked about we're already kind of talking about what has happened. Yeah. It's really like, where will this be at in the next 18 months?
And that's what I want you to, 5 years down the road, 2 years down the road, where are we going to be at?
I think 18 months is a good thing because of like the Warner Discovery and all of that combining, like that keeps like these giant conglomerate companies happening, and then they start like getting away from some of the stuff they own. They put it in a vault and it goes away, kind of like what Disney's is doing with certain things.
That's tax write-offs.
Yeah, and it's what they did with Batgirl and shut it down, and but at the same
with the Flash.
Well, that's what you say.
Okay, well, I haven't watched it yet because it's going to be streaming pretty soon, and we'll
Right.
talk then.
Yeah, they said that is the biggest failure now.
Flopbuster. Indiana Jones 5, another flop. So,
We need to do a podcast as a teaser, I guess. I think we need to discuss the expectations of our generation.
all right, sure.
I think that's part of it.
But for and I don't want to get into movies because I have a feeling this conversation is going to come up when we talk about The Flash. I know it is because I'm going to bring it up.
Okay.
So I don't want to go into movies. Stay on cable TV and stuff like that and streaming
Sure.
stuff. I don't think we're going to see another streaming service unless one fails and something gets recreated. I mean, we have plenty right now.
I can't imagine them trying to because so much stuff is already just getting
You have so much
defunct.
crossover and there's so much material and stuff out there that what's left? I mean, even the free little ones like Tubi and stuff that show some of the old cartoons and old
Right.
Nick at Night stuff.
Yeah.
There is a platform for everything. What else is left out there that isn't showing?
And I'm sure whoever owns Tubi is trying to find the right buyer right now as we speak.
Oh, absolutely. And then
They're
there's
just
a freebie
waiting on
and,
somebody.
I mean, Plex TV. There's a billion little streaming things, children's streaming things. If you want the Discovery channels, that you can get it all for $4.99 or
Right.
$7.99 with commercial. No, $4.99 with commercials, $7.99 without, or whatever for the whole month. $8 to watch all of their shows, that Food Network. Just like 20 different shows.
Sure.
Okay, then. Why even do? I mean, and I'm happy because Comcast doesn't have the grip that they used to. It used to be, hey, you're going to watch us. Cable's the only game in town. Satellite's different.
Yeah, but I still think that we've robbed Peter to pay Paul. It's no different. We've made
Well,
these other giant companies.
In a small town like this, where there's only two choices again, right? AT&T or Comcast, really.
Yeah.
But in bigger cities, they got that Verizon and lines.
Well,
and stuff
I don't
like
mean just that. I'm saying that us making Amazon such a thing that now is like second nature is kind of like how we looked at cable TV 20 years ago. If someone didn't have cable 20 years ago, they had to either live in the sticks or they were stricken with poverty.
that. Right.
And now it's no big deal.
No, not at all. So that's just what I kind of wondered. I don't think there'd be any more streaming. I think we'll have some, people combining. Like I don't know about Apple TV or what's another smaller one that's notable. I don't know.
I mean, I know Disney is tied up with Hulu in some degree.
Eventually, they've got to combine. They've got to combine for their investors to have big numbers. Because I think the two big ones still are Netflix and who else? Netflix and HBO Max, maybe? No. Is it Hulu? I don't know. I don't know who'd be the bigger ones. Oh, Amazon Prime. Never mind.
Yeah,
because
for
they
sure.
count their
That's what
Prime
I mean,
members and
the
stuff.
Prime
So
thing.
Amazon Prime's probably number one, then Netflix. But those are still the big two leaders, and then you got everyone else trying to rush up.
I don't know if you read some of the comments recently on one of our videos.
Please.
And someone asked, "What is this podcast even about?"
I saw that.
I like that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I wanted to respond and say I have the same question.
I agree.
There you go. Today it's on streaming
Yeah. This is
and
just
cable. The
This
death
is,
of cable.
this is just old guys shaking their canes at the sky.
By cane, do you mean wieners?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. Because I can imagine shaking
Because
a hooked cane.
When
walking
I think of chicken fingers at Cane's, that's exactly what I think of.
There you go.
Cane sauce.
Canes. That's exactly what it is. Oh, you meant Cane's, the chicken place, which originated in Louisiana.
Correct.
Nationwide now. Wild to think. No, but I'm not going to miss any cable TV places. I hated Comcast. I still hate Comcast. I use their internet because they're the only game in town.
Right.
But, if there was any competition that was even equal to them, I'd switch in a heartbeat. But you just kind of just stuck with one. Curse of a small town. But other than that, though, the streaming, watching thing, I don't know where it goes from here.
I think the thing that I miss most about not having it is local channels and seeing local commercials, because I enjoy poor production, which is probably why I like this podcast so much.
Oh, ouch. Okay. Wow. Dang. Is Heath available next week? Sheesh.
Did you say is the Heat available? Because it's here right now.
The Heat is here. I want to have Heath here. Can you imagine Heath, poor Heath, sitting in a chair?
He would be a grumpy boy.
Oh, man. It'd be great.
Yeah.
But I seriously didn't know until later on this night, so
sure,
it's too late. I was holding out hope that it would get cooler, but it did not.
A new hope.
Well, it wasn't a new hope.
Hmm.
Same old strung around. Anyway, so you have a writer's strike going on right now.
Yes.
That's impacting TV and live shows. You know, the live action, the reality shows are taking. Survivor this season is going to be an hour and a half. They stretched it out 30 minutes.
I had somebody who I know that is a journalist tell me that it is nothing. Like I'd heard a few things talking about was this because of AI. You know, people are worried about AI kind of doing this, and they said this is strictly about the royalty side of things.
Yeah,
you know, when
money.
It's nothing about the AI side of it. It is completely on royalties.
It's always about the money.
Yeah, and so I think that, you know, us referencing, you know, these companies buying up these intellectual properties and then just shutting it down and putting it in a vault where it doesn't exist, you are kind of shit canning a lot of people's income.
Right.
And where does that take these new generation of actors?
From what I heard from a writer, Chuck Dixon, who wrote a lot of comic books back in the day, he's big on Batman, Punisher, stuff like that. He said the writers picked the wrong time to strike. Back when the streaming wars were just starting up, if they would have struck right then, they would have gotten whatever they wanted because they need content. Everyone needs content. Well, now there's too much content and not enough viewers. The money pot is not there.
Correct.
So now everyone's cutting back, layoffs, canceling shows,
sure,
taking them off streaming, tax write-offs. You never would have seen a completed Batgirl film not get released, but they realize it's worth more as a tax write-off than if we release it. And that spells trouble for the writer's strike. They want money. Money is not there. Money is literally not there because they're cutting and slashing prices because everyone went big, millions and millions of dollars on these shows that no one's watching. What was one of the things Disney canned? A $54 million TV movie, streaming movie. It cost $54 million, one of the shows on Disney Plus. And they scrapped it because it's worth better as a tax write-off. Why were you spending $54 million on a direct-to-stream? Because that's the thing. Will Smith's big one, you know, big streaming. I never saw it, Bright or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you get but everyone, you get the big actors, you get the big budgets together, and there's a few other, I can't remember what they are right now.
It's good in theory, but you just can't execute the return the way it used to be.
It can't always be like that. When Netflix was the only game in town, then Hulu came around, there was good enough for both of them. But now there's just too many people trying to take a drink from the same well, and there's not enough water. There's not enough viewers. There's not enough people that no one's buying every single streaming service. 2 maximum, I think they'd have. I don't know if there's someone out there buying 3 or 4. Let me know. I mean, you're paying as much as you did with cable back in the day. Then
that's my point. Like, I think that there are people that have gotten looped into that.
No way.
Which I think is surprising that they didn't. They cut a cord, but then they latched on to
a billion other streams. They're buying a la carte and they're buying everything.
Right. They're not getting the value menu.
To do what I was doing back in the days is watch what you want on Netflix, cancel for that month, move to Hulu.
Yeah.
Go to watch what you want to watch on Hulu, got it, jump to the next one. You know, there's always been more. But I've got this is a must-watch Game of Thrones. Okay, then keep Max and then jump to the other ones then. You know, or just wait till the season. I don't know. Maybe you can't because you got friends that want to talk about it. But there's tons of. I like how people say it's Apple TV has some of the best shows that no one's watching because they've got everything up. They don't want Apple TV. I'm watching a show on Apple TV. It's okay. But
yeah, I had it for 3 months for free.
Yeah,
so I could watch Ted Lasso, and I
a lot
watched
of
the
people love
Tetris
Ted
movie.
Lasso. The Tetris movie I thought was excellent.
Yeah.
Silo is a TV show based off a book series that I love. It's getting critical acclaim, but it's all right. But the thing is, though, no one's watching because they can't afford to get every streaming show. You know, so plus you're looking at the Paramount, Peacock, or whatever stuff like that. There's just too much out there, and I don't know. It's a lot of it's falling through the cracks.
Where has creativity gotten us now, and how much creativity is out there?
So when does the writer's strike end?
I said it would not end before September, and I
agree with that.
I think now where we are currently,
you're thinking end of the year?
I think it'll go into 2024.
Woo! Big words. Okay, SAG is about to strike too. So that's really going to tie things up even more because right now actors are still being able to film shows, TVs, as long as they have scripts.
Right, they're trying to rush through it.
I mean, that's why Deadpool 3, I guess, is already filming.
Yeah, they're trying to get it.
And they're trying to get that into the can as fast as they
can. They've got to.
Which never would have happened. If we would not have had this writer strike, there'd been the big delays.
But I think it's good. That's where it will benefit us as a consumer. Is like they're like, we got to get the pedal to the metal.
So actor strike will elevate this problem. Yet you still think it'll go, but maybe that's because you think it'll go into the next year, right?
No, I agree. Yeah, I think that whatever, if they don't agree by the time the actor strike is, then they collectively now are going to, right, they're going to want an equal and balanced playing field for money to go from the creative side of it to the people that are actually performing.
Talent side, yeah.
And then, yeah, you got an extra hand in there trying to divvy this stuff up. It'll be interesting what the balance sheet looks like.
It will be. It'll be very interesting. I have a feeling that when the actor strike happens, then they're going to pony up. You're going to see something into the year. But you could be right. Could be right. Could be, March?
I definitely think it'll be. I definitely do not think it will end before
break over the holidays,
January of 2024.
Wow.
I don't think it'll happen.
I mean, yeah. It's good or bad in the long run.
Right, because once you kind of get into it and you dig your heels in, there's no collective bargaining. It's not like sports where you've got that kind of situation where everybody is just, all of this creativity has diluted everything so much. And that's why you got like people like Chevy Chase doing a Comic-Con. It's because he's got to get money now. All these actors are going to start being very available.
I get money because I spend tons of money and I got to find a way to make that money back.
Yeah, I got 4 ex-wives I got to pay for.
Yep. Got to sign them autographs.
Correct.
If that's all I have to do and charge, I don't know how much he's charging, $150 a pop, $200 a pop.
I'm sure it's more than that.
Probably more than that. But, hey, got to make that money. Thankfully, that's cash, so he didn't have to report most of it.
You don't think?
But, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Get that money going.
Yeah, I think that's what will drive next year. All these big cons, you're going to see more actors there because like all these big studios are pulling out. You will see major
this year.
You will see major amounts of actors.
That's interesting. This may be a good year to go Comic-Conning.
I think 2024
Have you seen any big actors coming besides Chevy Chase? I don't look.
Well, I mean, I watched some of it, but yeah, I don't really follow it. I kind of listen to the Heath Futch dirt sheet on that.
Oh.
He'll kind of tell me what's going on.
It's too bad because we should say this, that we did invite Mr. Futch back on, but he was asleep.
Well, he wasn't asleep. No, he was having technical difficulties with his tummy.
Oh, okay. He take a Tums?
Possibly.
Some Pepto-Bismol or whatever it's called. That coat his tummy. Is he still drinking his Ensure? Because that should help calm him down.
I think he got on some kind of new situation for his innards.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Wish him the best. Anyway, so let us know in the comments here. What do you think is going to happen with the streaming? Too much, too little? What do you when do you think the writer strike's going to end? We have no idea. Wes says 2024. Who says yay or nay? Let us know. And we'll see you next time. Oh, go. You want to say something? Go ahead.
What is this podcast about?
On Princes of the Universe.